There he is.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
How are you, doctor? I'm good. Good to see you. We appreciate you doing the little drive-by. So give us just the normal procedure in a situation in which there's an autopsy and police authorities are there. Why are they there? What do they do? What's the normal procedure?
Well, the normal procedure when there's a possible homicide involved is for police officers who are investigating the case and know about the case come to the autopsy to get the factual information from the first day of it when the autopsy is done. About 90% of what we learn from an autopsy is done that first 2 or 3 or 4 hours that the autopsy proceeds, and the facts. What happened to the organs, the direction of bullets, the spray that bullet powders make in the body, for example, and that the only thing left, not always pertinent in a case, would be the toxicology and the microscopic examination if it's done. So 90% of what's known is known within the first day, even though there may be delay in releasing the information, total information, because of the toxicology. The police come down and they give information about the background of the case and what they found at the crime scene, which can be helpful to the medical examiner in evaluating the autopsy findings. So they know a lot of information right at that time that helps the other in whatever further studies have to be done, and which may be more valuable if there's a very high drugs in the toxicology, for example. And so that the autopsy facts, the cause of death is usually determined almost completely on the first day. The interpretation of the manner of death that Linda mentioned about NASH, natural accident, suicide, homicide, depends on information the medical examiner may get from other people, usually from police, also from family members. There's a drug overdose. Now, whether it's accident, suicide, or homicide may depend on the information that the medical examiner gets from other people. The fact that a person dies of a drug overdose or dies from falling out of a window or dies in a fire, that's an autopsy. The interpretation of whether it's an accident, suicide, or homicide often depends on additional information that the medical examiner then interprets to see what's consistent and what isn't consistent with the autopsy finding in determining the manner of death.
So it's very normal for the law enforcement, whomever they may be, to be part of that process, an important part of that process. And when they walk out the door, those law enforcement officers, don't they need some sense of what the autopsy has shown?
Oh, yes. They have to. They want information to tell them what direction to go in. The medical examiner also, from the rigor mortis and lividity and temperature at the scene, which is the most important question police ask the medical examiner, Doc, how long is he dead? So they get an idea of what kind of questions they ask at the significant time period to various people they interview, and to see what fits in with the time of death. That is obtained by the medical examiner going to the scene. Once the body is removed from the scene, those indicators are just disturbed and not of as much value. So it's a scene where the medical examiner, somebody from the ME office, goes to the scene. At autopsy, we can look at the gastric contents and tell what was the last meal the person had, and how long before death was the person alive after that meal. All of this gives the police information that they use immediately, time of death, last time the person ate with somebody, that they can work with. And then the medical examiner, at some point, after getting back the toxicology, can especially can determine exactly what the cause of death is, and the manner of death still becomes partly dependent on information that he or she is getting from other people, from the family. Was a person depressed? It was a possible suicide. From a neighbor at the scene who may have heard or seen things that might be helpful, and from the family about whether the person was sick or mentally distressed, can enter into a determination of a manner of death.
Okay, one more question. I know I know you. I appreciate you swinging by and chatting with us for a minute. One more question. The medical examiner during that autopsy, the goal is not to come to undetermined, right? That's like that. That's the
right.
that everything else has been ruled out. So tell us how you get to that conclusion.
Well, undetermined is if you don't have any evidence as to cause of death. And that the most common undetermined cause of death is when skeletal remains are found in a wooded area. So, and you don't know whether it's a stabbing, a drug overdose, or having a heart attack because all the viscera are no longer present. That's usually the undetermined. Oftentimes it's undetermined because a person may have a bunch of natural diseases, and we don't know whether it's the heart disease or the cancer that caused the death. The cause of death, the manner of death is natural, but it's not always able to specify which of the various conditions he or she has. So that by doing a thorough autopsy and looking at the toxicology microscopic slides, it's about a 1% time that undetermined is put on the death certificate.
Boy, that's amazing. 1%. Okay. Well, always a fascinating part of the process forensically. And so, Dr. Michael Baden, thank you so much for kicking Linda Kenny Baden out of her seat.
Good to see. Still looks like you're standing up. That's great. That's healthy.
Actually, I'm sitting. Don't tell anybody I'm sitting because I'm going to be here a while.
It shows you how opinions can differ. To me, you look like you're standing. I'm sticking to it, even though it may not be
nice. Correct. Nice. I like it. Thank you, doctor. Okay, bye-bye. Sir. We'll see you next time. Dr. Michael Baden, always a pleasure. I always like chatting with that guy. He's got some great stories, amazing stories. So as you heard from him, the normal process, not only let's set aside the 1% being undetermined, which is amazing when you think of the Karen Reed case. He was talking generally, of course, about autopsies, the results, finding the mechanism of death and the cause of death. And law enforcement's kind of a big part of that process. What the coroner takes in or the ME, whoever may be doing the actual autopsy, so important. And to just kind of blow it aside as they did in the examination today of the trooper that was there, or was he a Canton police officer? Whoever was there for law enforcement, to object at every turn, to prevent him from telling this jury what happened during the autopsy in terms of his interaction with the medical examiner. It is critical